So the U.S. is reportedly pushing Ukraine to sign the 28-point peace deal by Russia by Thanksgiving. That's just next Thursday. But the plan does have provisions in it that President Zelensky has previously rejected. Joining us now is Alex Gray, former National Security Council Chief of Staff. Alex, great to see you. Thanks for being here. What is it that Zelensky doesn't like about this deal?
Well, thanks for having me, David. I think the biggest complaint that Zelensky would have is that it's going to make him bow, in my view, to reality and make some territorial concessions that, frankly, we are not in a position, the United States and Europe are not in a position to continue supporting an endless war for him to be able to have a very, very long odds of changing Russia's troop dispositions and getting back this lost territory. So in some ways, it's just accepting the geopolitical reality that Russia has large swaths of eastern Ukraine. They shouldn't have them, but they do. And in exchange, this plan makes a very important concession that the United States is willing to offer essentially a NATO-style security guarantee to give Ukraine the comfort that in the future, Russian aggression won't be tolerated. And David, I would just say, that President Trump was the only American president since the end of the Cold War under whom Vladimir Putin or Russia did not have any territorial aggression. I think we should feel very confident that if President Trump is putting his signature on this document, there will not be further Russian aggression on his watch.
So if Zelensky flat out rejects the deal or goes beyond the Thursday deadline, what happens then? What kind of pressure do we exert on Zelensky?
Well, my view, David, is we've given a tremendous amount of support to Zelensky over the last several months. We have offered a lot of help in terms of allowing Ukraine to strike Russian targets in Russian territory. We have been giving him weapon support that, frankly, Joe Biden, despite all his self-righteous posturing, never did. And I think it's time to say, look, we have other priorities. We have other geostrategic focuses, including in Asia-Pacific and China. We cannot continue to do this permanently. If Zelensky wants the United States to be a part of an endless war for no geopolitical purpose, we've got to force him to make some bows to reality, and I think this plan does that.
Okay, but how do we twist his arm? By saying we're going to cut off your arms shipments or what?
Look, I would say no more American support for firing American weapons into Russian territory, no additional high-end munitions. I would be very clear about what we're willing to do if he's not going to come to the table in good faith.
Alex, very quickly, I want to switch to Venezuela. I mean, you know, we are continuing to bomb some of these drug boats that leave there. We're continuing to send in our own forces, our own naval forces in there. What is being planned? Is this an Operation Just Cause, which is what we used to get rid of Noriega back in '89 and '90, or is it something less than that?
Well, I think at this point, David, I think what the president's trying to do is to show the Maduro regime that we have the capacity to make some significant efforts in the country. And I think to incentivize the people around Maduro to take matters into their own hands and to make a change in the leadership of the regime without us having to do a Panama or a Grenada redux. My hope is that that will happen. But as you can see from the armada the president's put out there, we have extraordinary capacity to influence events on the ground.
Yes. Alex, you're great. I thought we were going to have to truncate our questions, but we didn't because you answered so precisely. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here on this very busy news day.